One of the things that we have to remember is technology is not the experience, right? Technology is a tool and a facilitator of the experience, but it is not the experience itself. The experience is about emotions and perceptions and feelings of interactions, right? And so that's a very human thing.
Hi all, welcome to Engati CX. Today we have the pleasure of welcoming Annette Franz to our interview series. I would like to begin with just a quick intro of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform, available across 14 channels with 25,000 bots created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by inc.com, Tech World, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, video channel, the Engati CX podcast, receiving upwards of 300,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest, Annette Franz is the founder and CEO of CX Journey Inc. She got more than 25 years of experience helping companies understanding their employees and customers and identify what drives retention, satisfaction, engagement, and the overall experience so that employees, customers, businesses reap benefits and achieve their desired outcomes. She is the author of Customer Understanding, 3 ways to put customer in customer experience and at the heart of the business. And it was named one of the 100 most influential tech women on Twitter by Business Insider and is regularly recognized by companies around the world as a top influencer in customer experience. So, hi Annette, it's a pleasure to have you on Engati.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. This is great. I'm so excited to talk to you, Jay.
Yeah. So before we begin with the conversation, here's a quick announcement. We have something special for all of you, so stick around till the end of the interview.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So the first question that I have for you is that in your book, Customer Understanding, you shared a couple of ways on how to put customer and customer experience. So can you elaborate more on that with us?
Of course, of course. Yeah, so the 3 ways to achieve customer understanding are to listen, to characterize, and to empathize. And listening is really it's about feedback and it's about data. Listening, we can achieve listening through, surveys and online reviews and customer advisory boards and panels and all the different ways that we get feedback or that customers give feedback to us. But it's also, I like to say, the breadcrumbs of data that customers leave behind as they interact and transact with the brand, right? And when we marry that data with the feedback, magic happens, right? There's a lot of good stuff that happens there. The second way is what I call characterize. And characterize is all about developing your personas. And personas are really, they're research-based personifications of like groups of customers, like in the sense that they have, similar pain points, problems to solve, jobs to be done, expectations, needs, and they're research-based. We actually have to talk to customers to develop these personas, right? And it's not just enough to develop personas that tell us, brand preference or demographics or why they buy or what they buy. We really need to get into the head and the heart of our customers. And then the third way is empathizing. And empathizing is all about walking in our customers' shoes and understanding the experience that they're having today, and then using that to co-create and design a better experience for them tomorrow. And that is all about journey mapping, right? It's not just journey mapping the tool, but this whole process of journey mapping, which includes current state mapping, service blueprints, future state mapping, future state service blueprints, and more, right? So those are the three ways to really achieve customer understanding and put the customer in customer experience. The putting the customer into customer experience is actually what we do with all of that we learn. Right? That's the important part.
Yeah. So starting from the first step that would anybody have, it's like even when you're designing, put customer in front of you and see what they would be expecting so that you can craft the product or anything that you're creating that would be better.
That's right. Absolutely. And we can't do that until we really, understand what I said, pain points, problems to solve. Because, the interesting thing is that, there's a quote out there, and I don't even know who it's attributed to, but companies companies shouldn't be trying to sell products to customers. They should be trying to, develop products for customers, right? And that's the real, and service products and services. That's the real way to do it, is when we understand their pain points and their problems, we can develop products to solve for those problems.
Yeah, truly. So, coming on with customer experience, so similarly, how does employee experience play the role in, relation to fostering a great customer experience?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I just want to point out that those three things that I just mentioned can also be used to design and deliver a better employee experience too. But so employee experience, first we have to really define what employee experience is, because a lot of people confuse it with employee engagement, employee happiness, employee satisfaction. The experience is really sort of the sum of all the interactions that an employee has over the duration of their employment with an employer, and also the capabilities, what I call them the actions and the capabilities that enable them to do their jobs. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then the feelings, the emotions, and the perceptions that they have about all of that, right? So when I talk about actions and capabilities, and I promise to answer your question because this is going to get us there. When I talk about actions and capabilities, so I typically split up the definition of employee experience into sort of two things: the soft stuff and the hard stuff, right? The soft stuff is, great leadership, knowing how the work that I do impacts the business, knowing how I contribute, I'm empowered, I'm cared for, leadership communicates with me, recognition, appreciation, all of those kinds of things, and what I call sort of the soft stuff. And then the hard stuff is the tools, the training, the resources, the processes, the policies, the workplace, the workspace that they have to do their jobs. And when I start working with clients, I typically interview executives, employees, and customers. And employees are the ones who tell me, Annette, we don't have the tools, or the policies are broken, or the processes are outdated. I can't serve my customers the way that they want to or deserve to be served. So there's the connection right there, right? If we take good care of our people and we take good care of our employees and we give them what they need to do to have a great experience and to do a great job, in turn, they're going to be able to do a great job for customers as well.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So, how does social media play a very important role in customer communication and changing the complete customer experience?
So this is a really interesting question, because social media is just one channel of communication for us, right? With brands, with each other. And I think the real message around social media is, or around communication channels, is be where your customers want to be wherever however they prefer to communicate with you, right? And that's not just social media, that's phone, mail, chat, text, whatever it is. Be there and allow them to communicate with you in those in that manner via those channels. The problem is when companies don't respond, aren't responsive, don't respond in a timely manner, and customers don't get the answers or the help that they need. They go out to social media and they share it. It's the classic share it. If I shout it louder, if I let everybody know that I'm having an issue, not just the brand, somebody's going to pay attention, because now I'm standing out on the street corner and I'm yelling, hey. So social media is, it's so funny because going back to when social media first was a channel, right? I remember everybody going, oh my gosh, that's the wild west of communication, right? Who knows what's going to happen with that? And it's evolved, and you see brands out there now with teams that are monitoring social media and working with customers through social media. One of the things that's important, and I feel like I'm kind of going all over the place, but one of the things that's really important about social media too, from the brand perspective, is that those teams can't just be out there on their own, right? They've got to be incorporated. It can't just be a marketing function where they're out there just, talking about the brand, right? Because what I was just saying, customers will come to social media, to your social media handle and say, hey, I'm having an issue and I'm not getting help. And if you don't have a cohesive effort internally, a team of folks who are either in customer service and marketing and folks working together, that's not going to, that request from the customer isn't going to go anywhere either. Or you're going to start playing, pass the hot potato and find somebody who can help this person. And in the end, they don't get help that way either. So, and I've seen that happen. I have seen that happen. So again, it's an important communication channel. It's important that brands are where customers want to be and want to communicate, and you need to be prepared to work with customers in whatever fashion the customer needs to work in.
Yeah. But is it like still people are hesitating to come on social media? Like companies are, they think it's a bit skeptic. How does that go?
I'm not seeing that anymore. I did, like back in the day when it was the Wild West, but now I think we're seeing more and more brands, and not just on Twitter, Instagram. Lots of brands interacting with their customers on Instagram. We're Facebook, wherever they're out there interacting with them, and not everybody's picked up every channel or every type of social media, but I don't think it is like it was 10 years ago where people were just throwing their hands up going, what, I don't know what to do with that. I think brands are more comfortable and know that they need to be out there as well.
Yeah, I think with pandemic coming in, people have started embracing digitalization with technologies and also with social media, and it's helping them actually to connect with the customers. Yeah,
absolutely, totally agree.
Yeah, so how can emerging technologies like automation, AI, chatbots be used to create better customer experience?
So here's an interesting thing, and I'll just sort of preface my ultimate answer with this. One of the things that we have to remember is technology is not the experience, right? Technology is a tool and a facilitator of the experience, but it is not the experience itself. The experience is about emotions and perceptions and feelings of interactions, right? And so that's a very human thing. So we can't throw technology at what I call a people problem. We can't throw technology at that. So we have to view technology for what it is. And it is a tool and a facilitator, and it helps us to deliver a better experience. But one of the things that I think we have to keep in mind with all of this automation and all of the, AI and all of the, the bots and everything is that A, that human component, B, there's research out there that says the more advanced the technology becomes, the more people want to interact with people, which is really interesting because it starts to get so convoluted or so like it's not helpful. You've probably seen those too. No offense, but there are bots out there that I've worked with certain brands that it's like, what I just wasted 20 minutes. We just went around in a circle and it didn't get so you just have to remember that there has to be an out for the customer, right? There has to be a way, an easy way for the customer to go, okay, you know what, done with this. I need to talk to a human and make that easy for them, right? I mean, ultimately that's what it's about. The automation is about making it easy, but when it becomes so easy, convoluted easy, there has to be an out for the customer to just very easily go and talk to a human as well.
It's actually like you can have these tools as a first point of contact, but there should always be a way where the users or the customers can come and talk to the executives also, because not every problem can be solved with automation or the bot.
Exactly. I think if we can automate some of the, the repetitive, the easier, the intuitive kinds of things, but if we know that a customer needs help in a way with something that's, much more complex, that the bot automatically or the AI automatically says we need to redirect you to, a customer service rep or to somebody who can help you with that, and not try to even solve it there, because in the end it's just going to lead to frustration.
Yes.
And a call and a conversation with a human.
Yeah. That's right. Like, have you pointed out that there are some queries that the customers are asking and some repetitive tasks. So you can have that answered by the chatbot, because it becomes very easy instead of connecting with the human and explaining them the whole problem, you can just type it out and have the bot answer in like seconds. So
Exactly.
that is very helpful when enhancing customer experience. But of course, complex problems require the human touch also.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to what we were talking about with social media, right? It's be where your customers want to be. You know, whatever their preferences are, however they want to communicate and interact, offer those channels, right? So
Yeah, completely agree. So, concluding, do you have any other thoughts that you would like to share with our audience?
Um, you know, I think we covered a lot of the big ones, right? Because I always like to, you know, a lot of times I'll get asked this question at the end of an interview, and we haven't talked about employee experience, but you made employee experience my second question, so that was awesome. I think that the one thing that I throw in here is that I think it's really important that we talk for a half a second about culture, and that really that being the foundation of the organization. If you know, we can have all these tools and we can have all this technology and we can have, you know, the you know, greatest, you know,
Yeah,
inspiration or aspirations for great customer experience and employee experience, but if we don't have the foundation in place to make sure that everybody in the organization lives and breathes that, then what we're going to get, what we call CX heroes, right? There's going to be one person over here that a customer interacts with that will go the extra mile and go do whatever it takes to solve the problem for the customer, to give the customer what he or she needs. And then they go and, you know, place that second call or speak to another salesperson or whatever it is, and it's just not the same experience. So if we have, and this could be a whole interview on its own, but if we have the culture in place to ensure that everybody's living and breathing the core values, the culture, and has the tools and what they need for everybody to be a CX hero, then that's awesome. So that would be my parting thought would be, you know, the culture is such an important part to making sure that both employees have a great experience and the customers have a great experience
yeah,
consistently.
yeah. I think it's like when you engage or you make your employee experience so enhanced that the employees themselves want to give a better customer experience. It
Right.
comes from within, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Annette, for giving us your time. I think your insights and the knowledge that you have shared with us is really valuable, and our audience will really enjoy the interview that we had.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you're stuck around for this long, we are so excited to announce that our ebook, The Evolution of Customer Experience, is out and available to download. So you can check the link in the description below for more details. We'll be back with a new episode with a brand new expert soon, so stay tuned and we'll see you around for the next one. Thank you so much.